Cognitive biases, we humans being more emotional than most organisms, are easily swayed by emotions rather than rationality. This emotional inclination often shapes our perception of reality, causing us to gravitate toward information that resonates with our feelings. For instance, a news story about a tragic event may evoke strong emotional reactions, leading us to accept it without scrutiny. This emotional bias opens the door for misinformation to creep in, as sensationalized or emotionally charged content is more readily embraced. Consequently, we may unknowingly reinforce falsehoods as the emotional appeal overrides the need for rational evaluation and fact-checking. No amount of education can rid us of being vulnerable to instantaneous appeal to emotion. While education can provide us with the tools to critically assess information and understand the importance of rational thinking, it cannot entirely eliminate our vulnerability to emotional appeal. Emotions are deeply embedded in our psychological makeup, often influencing our decisions and judgments subconsciously. Even highly educated individuals are not immune to emotional triggers, especially when the appeal is strong or aligns with pre-existing beliefs. This emotional susceptibility is an inherent aspect of human nature, which education can mitigate, but not entirely eradicate. Consider the following sequence of 3 independent sentences. I, Jack is vaccinated against COVID. T, Jack is infected with COVID. And pre, Jack died. These sentences can be interpreted in different ways, leading to various assumptions about cause and effect. Receivers may perceive them differently based on their preconceived notions, apprehensions, or anxieties due to uncertainty. Our brains tend to make immediate connections between sentences and draw inferences, which in this case could be, Jack died because of the COVID vaccine. Posing questions for each sentence would allow for a more accurate understanding of the actual causation. When was Jack vaccinated? When and how was Jack infected? Does Jack have any comorbidities? What was the cause of Jack's death? Many questions must be answered before we can draw more accurate conclusions about what happened. However, our impatient and restless brains often settle for readily available connections that are easier to make instead of analyzing all the statements and gathering more information. Consequently, our brains must be trained, and individuals must acquire the necessary skills and knowledge to interpret information correctly. From Sherlock Holmes, it is a big mistake to come to conclusions before you have all the facts. Without realizing it, people often twist the facts to fit their theories instead of adjusting their theories to fit the facts. Our preconceived ideas greatly influence our thoughts, actions, and beliefs. In entertainment, we tend to choose movies with actors we like or are familiar with. When watching soccer, we passionately root for the team we identify with. But do we watch movies solely for their artistic value? Do we watch soccer purely for the sport itself? Do we watch to admire the skill, coordination, and strategy displayed by the winning team? Or do we watch simply to witness our favorite team triumph? In other words, do we watch to learn, be entertained, or satisfy our ego? Most of the time, we watch with the hope that our favorite team will win or that our star player will shine. We watch the match to feel good, reflected victory. It is effortless and enjoyable, requiring no risks or effort. We are content with feeling good and passing the time. My country is the greatest nation in the world is a false statement, and so are any similar statements about race, species, communities, castes, tribes, and religions. A statement such as, my religion is the greatest and truest religion, could be objectively true only if it is made by an individual who has studied all the religions without any biases and states his or her arguments coherently. But one could take life or give life to defend these statements without proper study or thought. Apart from indoctrination, we are all biased. Bias conditionally gives us passion, energy, cognitive comfort, pleasure, security, and pride.